Hey, welcome back to Karen's Papercraft. Thank you very much for watching. Wat leuk dat je weer kijkt. Dankjewel. Do you need a gift box? Then try this one. I've designed it especially with a new kind of top so that it doesn't buckle, and it's a really versatile box. In the video I'm showing you one for a birthday, but I'm showing you more versions. So if you want to find out how you can make it yourself, keep watching. It's a really versatile little box. I can show you in a minute, but first I'm going to show you the top. And I think I'll show the one that I have made in designer series paper, because you can do that as well with a cardstock top, and you can close it off with a ribbon if you want to. But I think this shows that best. You see, the special top is this. I have left this flap on, and then of course you have to notch it so that people can open the box and get whatever you've put in there. And designer series paper is a possibility. I'm just putting the ribbon back on. Yes, it slides back on. Closure is a little magnet. You can have different stamp sets. This was Biggest Wish, but this is one I've made with Bird's Eye View, which has a lovely look as well, I think. And this one with Christmas Classics, the holly and the berries, for a Christmassy look. As I said, a really versatile little box. Now, I designed it for a blog hop, no, not a blog hop, an Instagram hop, and the theme there was birthday. So I decided to make it a Biggest Wish box, and this I think has a more masculine look. Today I'm going to use this stamp and that stamp for a more girly look, and I'm going to change the colours as well. I'm going to use Berry Burst and Bubble Bath, and I'm going to use a Berry Burst top, and then a ribbon. That's a bit of fluff. This is from the Ribbon Duo Combo Pack. One colour is Bubble Bath and the other is, I believe, Lemon Lime Twist. But this is what I'm going to use to close it off. And then I'll show you the paper that you're going to need. You're going to need basic white. You can have either the thick variety or just the normal one. This is just the normal basic white. And the size is 11 by 4. In centimetres, that is 28 by 10.2. And for the top, we're going to need a piece of Bubble Bath. And this is 4.5 by 2 3/4, and just a little over that, but I'm going to show you that when I make the top itself, the flip top for the box. First I'm going to show you how you can make the box, the bottom part. If you use designer series paper and you don't intend to do any stamping, you can just do all the scoring in one go. If you do some stamping, as I'm going to do here, I advise you to put in one score line first. So with a short side top, you're going to put a score line at 3/4 of an inch. That is 1.9 centimetres. So I'm putting it in my trimmer, putting it on the 3/4 inch mark, and then putting in a score line. I'm going to use that score line as a reference for the stamping. And I'm also going to put a pencil mark on my paper, and I want it about, I'm just looking for the fat line on the grid paper here. I want to stamp about 1/2 inch above that. No, 1/4 inch, sorry, about 1/4 inch for that, from that scored line. So if I have the score line on this mark, then I'm going about 1/2 inch over for the middle of the stamp, and I'm putting a very faint pencil line on the paper. I don't think you can see it, but I can see it, and I'm going to use that to put the middle part of the stamp on. So if you have the birthday, see, then I can see that it's just roughly in the middle. No, it's not going to be in the middle, is it? I'm using it as the bottom of my, the bottom of the stamp. Sorry about that, my nattering. So I need 2 colours, and I'm going to start with Happy, and I'm going to start on the right and then stamp towards the left, and I'm alternating the colours. And I'm looking for the, so not the bottom of the letters with a stroke down, but the bottom of the letters of Happy, so the H, the A, the P and the Y, and I'm putting those more or less on the pencil line. And that's how I go towards the left. There's a piece missing there. That's okay, because that's where your glue flap is going to be, and you're going to fold that inside anyway. So when the ink has dried, I can remove this pencil line, and it helps you to keep stamping in a straight line. At least it helps me, so I highly recommend putting an extra pencil line in. Right, then the rest of the score lines, still with the short side top, I'm going to put in a score line at 3 1/4. So the first score line was at 3/4 of an inch, and then you go to 3 1/4 inch. And in centimetres, that is 8.3 centimetres. Then with a long side top, you're going to put in a score line at 1/2 inch. At 1 1/4. I'll give you the centimetres when I've finished with the inches, otherwise I'll be confusing myself. So 1 1/4, 5 3/4, and then you need to put the last one in at 6 1/2, but instead of opening my arm, I can rotate it and score this at 4 1/2. Then you get the same effect, meaning that here there's a 3/4 inch side. In centimetres, that is 1.2, 3.1, 14.6 and 16.5. Okay, then I'm going to... So that is the score lines, and sorry about that, my camera stopped filming. So I decided to do the score lines off camera and then continue when I had put in a new battery. These things happen. Right, so then you're going to do some cutting, and here you cut up those score lines straight to that first score line, and then you wedge this little flap. Here the same thing, cut up straight and wedge. This is going to be the glue flap, so you wedge this on 2 sides. Here you cut up straight. I'm wedging this in one go instead of cutting up straight, but you can still cut up straight and then wedge, whatever you like. Here you cut up straight and you wedge. Then I'm going to show you where to make the notch so that people can actually reach inside the box. And you put the notch on what's going to be the front of the box, and the front is in between these 2 flaps. So this is where your front is, and the box is 4 1/2 inches wide, 11 1/2 centimetres. So you're going to put a little pencil mark halfway there. Let me get the numbers upright, and a pencil. So half of 4 1/2 is 2 1/4. So 2 1/4 is the middle. In centimetres, that would be 5.75, so either 5.7 or 5.8, it doesn't really matter. And since I have this out, I'm going to put, at the same position, I'm going to put a pencil mark for the magnet later on. And you want the magnet about 5/8 of an inch, so roughly there, from the top. And I don't know what 5/8 is in centimetres. I'll look it up for you because I have my handy table here. 5/8 is 1.6 centimetres. And I'm going to need my table later on for the top. I promised you that. Okay, then with a punch, I have got here a 1 3/8 circle punch. A larger one or a smaller one would work as well. The point is that you get a notch inside, so you can see where the pencil mark is, and then I'm punching a notch. You could also, if you have a small circular die cut it, or you could draw a line and then cut it by hand. If you have a punch ready or handy, that will be fine. Okay, so this is then the box almost finished. I'm going to put a magnet on and before I stick the box together. It makes life that much easier, believe me. I have these self-adhesive magnets. That's one, and that's the other one, which is going to go on the outside later on. Okay, so I'll put it on here. Let me get this off, and I'm going to use my take your pick tool to position it. There we go. I'll show you where to put tear and tape. First of all, of course, on the glue flap. So I'll talk you through that. On the inside of the box, where the front is going to be, where you're notched, you put it along the entire strip. On the outside, here along the glue flap, and here 2 small strips where the back flap is going to be. And I'll show you in a minute why, because it helps you to make a really nicely finished bottom. You won't see these bottom flaps anymore. So I can put this over here, and then I'm going to show you how you can make the top. For the top you need some cardstock, and you need a piece which is 4.5 inches, so let me cut that first. 4.5 in centimeters, that is 11.5, and then you need a piece which is just a bit bigger, and I'll show you why. This part is 3/4 inch. If you want this cardstock to go over, this needs to be a fraction bigger, a 1/16 inch, which is just 0.2 centimeters. If you don't, it won't be large enough and you can't fold it over. So to allow for this wider part, I'm going to cut my piece of cardstock just a tad over 2 3/4 inch, and it is really 2 13/16, but instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., what I do is the following, and I can show you with my example here. If you have an inch, okay, you've got half, you've got quarter, you've got 1/8, 7/8. Now, if you have to go just 1 over 3/4 inch, that's a 13/16, you see? So that's 1 over. For me, that is 3 1/4 plus. Instead of counting, I just go 3 1/4 plus 1. If you go 2 extra, you'll be at 7/8 inch, which has its own name. So 3 1/4 plus. So with my paper, I go to the 2 3/4. There we are. And then I move 1 mark down. In centimeters, it is 7.1. So in centimeters, it's sometimes easier. And then I'm going to score this at both ends. Let me put my cutting blade out of the way, at 1 inch. So I'm scoring it at 1 inch, and then I'm rotating it and scoring it again at 1 inch. Now this middle part is just over 3/4 inch. In centimeters, you score at either end at 2.5 centimeters. Then I can fold this as well. I'm going to adhere it to the top of the box, and I do this before I stick the box together. And I'm going to use Tombow because that gives me some room to wiggle it about. So putting on some glue, not too much near the edges, otherwise it'll ooze out. I can fold this one inwards, and then I'm looking from the top and putting it on, and I'm staying just below that scored line, and I'm checking here if it's flush with the edge, and it is. If not, you can still move it about a bit. Do give the glue some time to dry. When you think this is on okay, you can use some more glue on the top part. Just a little, go a long way, and then put that one on as well and fold it up a bit. It can move about. So I'm leaving this to dry for just a minute. Now I can show you, excuse me, how you can put the box together. So I'm folding in this little flap, and I'm removing the paper backing, and I'm holding it down with my take your pick tool, and then I can flatten these and that one and move it over and align it with the edge there. So I'm looking for the top and the bottom, and oh, I pushed down too quickly. So top and bottom score lines match and the edge matches, okay, and then you can push it down. Put the top together and pull the top over. And now before you stick it together, it may be handy to put the other magnet on. So you put it on there, see? And oh, what has happened? Hey, that's funny. Because the sticky side sticks on there and the sticky side should be on there. That's not what I want. Oh, I'll take another magnet, see if that works. That's funny, I did take two out, two opposite ones, didn't I? Yes, I did. That's peculiar. See if this one works. No, then I want the other one. I have funny magnets. Or it's just funny me. Let me just check this. That's better. I don't know what happened there. Okay, well, because I do need one which has the sticky side outside. So I exchanged the magnets, okay. That's physics. I know I was never good at physics. All I know is that I want the sticky side outside because I want to put my top over. So I'm making sure when I put the top over that the edges are aligned. So I'm using my fingers. Make sure it doesn't. That's it. See? And then from the inside I can push down on the magnet, and now the magnet is in the right position. Phew, I was getting a bit hot and bothered there for a minute. And then you can put the bottom together. Now remember, I told you that I'm going to hide these two flaps. So first I'm putting in the back flap, which is the one which has these two little strips of tear and tape. You put that one in first, and then you fold these little flaps over. There we go. And then you push over the entire. Oh, if you hear a noise in the background, that's my husband grinding some coffee, in case you wondered what's happening. And now, if you look into the box from the top, you see it has a beautifully finished bottom. You don't see those flaps anymore. I'm using my bone folder to make sure it all sticks. And then I'm going to fold in the top, put the magnet on, and put my ribbon on. How much do I need? Well, let me just think. I want to be able to tie a bow, so let me just measure that. Didn't do this beforehand, so that should do it. How many inches is that? That is 16, about 18 inches I think it is. So let me get my special scissors out. And I'll look it up and blend it in how much that is in centimetres. I have no idea, frankly. Okay, so putting the ribbon on. You could see me use a pair of tweezers there to hold down that piece of ribbon, and I'm using a cigarette lighter, and I'm just briefly touching the cut end of the ribbon to make sure that the end doesn't fray. And there you have a little birthday box. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial and I've shown you how easy it is to make a box like this for yourself. All the details for this box are on my blog. There's details in inches and in centimeters, and the link is in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching. Dankjewel voor het kijken en see you next time. Bye bye, tot ziens!